Hello and welcome to the Craft Beer Corner. For today's beer review, we're jumping into a beer from a brewer. We have done many other beers, though it has been quite a while, and that is the Brewing Projekt out of Eau Claire, Wisconsin. This beer today is called Resist, and it is a Piña Colada flavored milkshake IPA, clocking in at 7.2% ABV. The specific one has been brewed with toasted coconut, pineapples, lactose, and vanilla. And they even give us the hop bill on this one of Citra and Mosaic. So this beer, before I even jump into it, has got a really excellent foundation. Starting with the label art on here, it's got kind of a dancing skeleton, which skeleton is a pretty common theme on the Brewing Projekt beers. It's kind of dancing in a hula with some pineapples in its hand, coconuts on the ground. So we're fully encompassing here the spirit of Piña Colada. All right, so big milkshake IPA. This one does have lactose, so it's going to accentuate these added flavors. Toasted coconut, pineapple, and it's got the added vanilla. So it's got the fundamental base of what should make for an excellent Piña Colada flavored IPA. What really kind of sets this one apart from many that I've had is this has big high alpha acid content hops in it. Citra and Mosaic in particular. So I'm expecting I'm going to get a lot of citrus, maybe even some blueberry overtones, both in flavor and aroma profile, coming out of these big hop bills in tandem with the toasted coconut and pineapple and the underlying vanilla. So this should be a really nice, really big beer if this is done right. And I have had many of the Brewing Projekt beers over the years, and they do tend to do them right. So we're going to get this cracked. We're using our nice, tall, all-purpose glass today, so we'll get this poured right in. Yeah, that's pouring a nice, classic, deep golden yellow IPA color. I love to see it. Bit more aggression. Give that a chance to fully form its head. And sure, we'll get the whole beer in here, no problem. All right, so visually, yeah, this is a very deep golden yellow. I am seeing a little bit of sediment. You know, it's got some additives in it. That could be yeast sediment. That could be toasted coconut. It could be pineapple. That will settle down to the bottom of the glass. But visually, yeah, this is a nice, true, deep golden yellow color. It's got that lactose. It's a little thicker. It's got slight occlusion to it. But it did form a nice, creamy head floating right on top. Oh, wow, yeah. Oh, man. That is just a wonderful aroma coming off of this beer. Okay, so it's a Piña Colada inspired milkshake IPA. It's got the added ingredients, and you can really pick them out right away in the aroma. Toasted coconut, pineapple, vanilla. No problem. They come right out at you. But like I said, this does have two high alpha acid content hops, Citra and Mosaic. So those qualities are absolutely present on the nose as well. There is a distinct citrus aroma to it. That could come both from the Citra or the Mosaic. There's a nice bit of resin to it that's probably coming most likely from the Citra, not as much from the Mosaic. And there's this underlying earthiness. Both of these hops bring earthiness to the table. And of course, Citra would in general bring some pineapple qualities in the aroma, but because it's Piña Colada, it's got the added pineapple. So I gotta say, I think they chose really good hops to bring to the table in this beer, but it smells absolutely fantastic. The head settled down enough that I think we can just jump right in this one. So without further ado, we're gonna dive right in. Take one. Oh, wow. Okay, wow. That's a really big beer, and big in all of the right ways in the best way possible. It's got big aroma, it's got big flavor, it's got a really robust body, a really thick, resistant, sumptuous mouthfeel that's very silky. This is a big beer, guys. 7.2. Okay, that's not a low ABV, but the presence that this beer has would put a lot of Imperials to shame. And yeah, this is what I know about the Brewing Projekt. When they go big, they bring it. They're not playing around. So, Piña Colada inspired milkshake IPA. This is absolutely a recipe for success. Just as in the aroma, the flavor profile is absolutely filled with Piña Colada. You can really taste the toasted coconut. You can really taste the pineapple. You can really taste the vanilla. That lactose does its job. It sweetens the beer up enough to let you taste those added ingredients. And sure, there is a slight bit of sweetness to this, but by and large, it's an IPA and an IPA first. And we already know that by the high alpha acid content hops that they chose. And yeah, those are bringing their characteristics to the table as well. So in tandem with this, getting a very big inspiration of Piña Colada, you're still getting the underlying subtleties and traits from the hops that they chose to put in this beer. So yeah, there is this citric quality, this citric acid and rind quality coming straight off those citra hops. There is a little bit of a resinous quality that comes through in the flavor profile. There's a nice bit of underlying earthy hop bitterness to it. And yeah, that could come either from the citra or the mosaic. There's a little bit of a dankness, a little bit of a funkiness that could come from either, but I feel like in general that's going to be pulling out of the mosaic. And yeah, this is Piña Colada, but mosaic does tend to impart, in general, some pretty big blueberry aromas and flavors. It could be either or, it could be neither. But in this one, I didn't get it so much on the aroma, but I am getting it in the flavor profile. So think of like a IPA, Piña Colada inspired, with just a splash of blueberry. It's really, really nice, guys. This is a very, very well put together beer. I've had many of the Brewing Projekt's beers of all types, and I did expect it, and yet again, they have delivered. I love Piña Coladas. I think it's just a fabulous combination of ingredients with pineapple and coconut, and it really, really works in a lot of beer formulas, and the Brewing Projekt has done this extremely well in this Milkshake IPA. So, we already know it's got a big, big, robust body, a nice, resistant, silky mouthfeel, very sumptuous, but there's a lot happening. So I'm going to jump back in for a second sip. I'm going to pick this flavor profile apart, make sure I didn't miss anything. Then we're going to talk about the balance. We're going to talk about the finish. But my first impression, I absolutely love it. So, take two down the hatch. Yeah, big beer. Right away, it hits you with immediate Piña Colada, but you still know you're drinking an IPA because you get kicked with that nice bitter kick. It's subtle on the front, and it comes right at the same time as the big intensity of the Piña Colada flavors. But as those slowly die down within 10 seconds, the underlying hop qualities, the underlying bitterness underneath this, because it is an IPA at its heart, really start to open up. So as the subtle sweetness and the Piña Colada qualities start to dial back a bit, the hops really start to open up, and it's got this really nice underpinning of earthy bitters, a little bit of resinous quality, and a slight kind of citrus rind, citrus oil quality. So it's this really nice blend of big, high alpha acid content hop qualities that are coming to the party as well, and pairing with this nice, slightly sweet, big Piña Colada inspiration. So it's a little bit dichotomous in that fact, in that Piña Colada, generally we think of sweet and very strictly kind of regulated to that flavor profile. But with the hops that they chose, it brings a completely different equation to the table, and they work very, very, very well in concert. This is a very well put together beer. It's extremely well balanced, and it's 100% delicious. That I can tell you. So now let's talk about the finish. Where does this beer finish off on each sip? So it is a little bit longer than average, though maybe not quite as long as you would expect for an IPA at 7.2% that contains a combination of Citra and Mosaic. It's longer than average, but this isn't as stringently bitter. It's enough there that you can pick out the bitters, and it's clear and it's present, but it's not lingering intensity of bitters on the back end. It is a combination of bitters, though, and the lingering Piña Colada flavor intensity that does drive out the end of the finish. So you do have a little bit of subtle underlying resinous and earthiness. That's really where the bitter qualities are lingering, driving out the finish, in tandem with very distinct pineapple, coconut, and subtlety of vanilla still floating in the back. So it almost finishes on this very nice ride that it took you through the bell curve where it started. It's just really, really well balanced all the way from start to finish, and it's got bold aromas, it's got bold flavors, but it's extremely well put together. I gotta say, this is a great flavored milkshake IPA. I love all things Piña Colada. I'm gonna grab them regardless of how they come out. This is one of the best I've had to date, to be certain. I'm gonna take my time, sip on this beer, call it my scores. When we come back, we're gonna get this one ranked from top to bottom. All right, now that we've gotten to enjoy this beer, we're going to get it ranked. This was the Brewing Projekt's Resist. This is the same name of a bunch of different types of the same beer they do. Milkshake IPA, this was the Piña Colada version, brewed with toasted coconut, pineapple, lactose, and vanilla. 7.2% ABV on this one, and the Brewing Projekt is based in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. So this was just a great beer all around. This one sounded great. I had it set aside for a while. I said, you know, today's the day I want to see what this is about, and it did not disappoint. The Brewing Projekt beers I've had today have all been really, really good, and as a massive fan of Piña Colada, that flavor combination of coconut and pineapple, this was just extremely well executed, but still a true IPA at its heart. So this almost swept it. Only two categories we need to talk about that did not get a perfect 10 out of 10. The first of those was the finish, and this was actually a little surprising to me. Because, like I said, there was a lot of bold intensity of the additive flavors, but it was still a true IPA first. And they used two high alpha acid content hops, Citra and Mosaic. And yes, there were a ton of aroma and flavor compounds and characteristics that were pulled out of those two hops. And yes, there was a nice bit of bitters, but it wasn't, you know, like a West Coast style or anything. It didn't have ridiculously lingering bitters to really drive it out. It was longer than average, but not as long as you might expect given the hop bill. Finish does get a 7 out of 10. And then the second category that did not get a perfect score was the head and retention. Guys, this really only missed it by a hair. This one formed pretty well, and it stuck around nearly the whole time. It only missed the mark by a slight margin, and it did get a 9 out of 10, which does mean a perfect 10 out of 10 in the remaining 8 categories. That's aroma, taste, body, mouthfeel, appearance, balance, feeling, and intangible, my subjective thoughts category, and then finally example of style. So that brings the total score on the Brewing Projekt's Resist, the Piña Colada version, to a 96 out of 100. Guys, this was top tier. I mean, you know by now I love IPAs. I am a hophead. I also love all things Piña Colada. I reviewed many Piña Colada flavored beers on this channel, and this was one of the best ones I've had to date. Just the combination of flavors, the pungency, the aroma, the way that the hops worked with it. This was just about as close to perfection, I think, as you could make a Piña Colada flavored IPA for my money, and bravo the Brewing Projekt, guys. If you like milkshake IPAs, flavored IPAs in general, or just IPAs, this is one to keep on your radar. Absolutely worth it, and anybody that likes Piña Colada flavored anything, you gotta grab this one. Folks, that's today's review. As always, I do sincerely appreciate you tuning in today. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to stay in the loop when our videos go live, just turn on the notifications, hit the bell icon. It's right next to the subscribe button. Until next time, keep it beer, keep it craft. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.